the greatest league in the world, and I'm going to predict it. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm going to get straight into it. My championship predictions to the 2025-26 season. Let's get started. So you already know what's going to be last, Sheffield Wednesday. Long story short, if you've been living under a rock, they've had a massive exodus, so many players have left, managers left, Danny Röhl, full on 24th. I mean, if they had Danny Röhl, they'd be pushing 23rd, 22nd, but no, gonna be bottom. Next I have Hull, and I feel like they've been just stagnating so much ever since, to an extent, Liam Rosenior left, and it feels like things aren't going to get any better with the owner that they have, where he just seems so linear in his thoughts into transfers and how he wants to operate things, and I don't think it's going to work this season. Ruben Selles saved them last season. This season, I think it's going to be the one that they go down. 22nd, I have QPR. To an extent, because of Cifuentes going, he kept them around mid-table, bottom half of the table, with a mini budget, which is insane, the amount of things he did so well there. But it feels like this season, irrespective of who's going to be there, you could have Guardiola, you could have Mourinho, I think they would struggle as well. I don't really see how they would not be around the 22nd, 21st, 20th place. So I think they're actually going to go down as well. I mean, you could argue it's because I'm a Brentford fan, but you know, what can you do? 21st, I have Swansea. They've been in so much mid-table mediocrity that I feel a lot of the other teams have progressed in some capacity above them. You could argue a couple of the teams above may not have, but I think Swansea will be the team that will be the bottom of the pile in that group. So I think they're just going to just about scrape relegation. 20th, I have Blackburn. Another club with incredibly bad owners who don't know how to run a football club, but they know how to buy something. They've just been on the down for such a long time. With Eustace, there was a bit of hope, but now he's gone to Derby. Ishmael, I don't think he's going to last long, and I won't be surprised if they hire Wayne Rooney. You heard it first. 19th, I have Preston. Again, I'm not really one who rates Paul Heckingbottom. Sure, he did very well with getting Sheffield United promoted, but then you see how he was in the Premier League for that short space of time he was at. He's not a Premier League manager. He's just about a Championship manager. So I think, along with Blackburn and Swansea, them three teams you can put anywhere, in my opinion. But I think Preston will be around roughly the same position they were last season. 18th, I have Stoke. And as much as I am a fan of Mark Robins, I feel like it's the name of Stoke for whatever reason. In the Premier League, you have Manchester United, where you can have world-class players join Man United, but it's Manchester United. Some players are going to flop just because it's the name and there's a certain way to play football. With Stoke, I feel that's a Championship comparison, where for whatever reason, all these names and talents come to Stoke, but it never materializes into anything productive or positive. So, as much as I want Mark Robins to succeed and I would like Stoke back in the Premier League, I don't think it's going to be another season where they are somewhat going to progress positively up the table. So 18th it is. 17th I have Bristol City. I realised 2 days ago, Liam Manning has left Bristol City and he's gone to Norwich. So that is the main reason why I've kind of put them down. I struggle to see how well they will do, irrespective of Liam Manning leaving or more players coming in. That would not put them back into mid-table mediocrity, and I think it'll be the bottom half of the mid-table mediocrity. 17th. 16th, I have Oxford. Last season, I had them going down, and I feel if they started the season with Gary Rowett, and I really do like Gary Rowett, if they started with Gary Rowett, they would have been around 20th in my predictions. But they've done incredibly well last season. I think they will actually go one step further. I'll be very surprised if they actually go below any of these sort of teams like QPR and Hull. But I would like to think, with the amount of heart that they have as a squad, they can continue to progress in the Championship. 15th, I have Birmingham. Now, Birmingham, you could argue, is becoming a rel-run football club. And I think putting them 15th is a great testament to any promoted side, more so in the Championship with how unpredictable it is, to be around the mid-table positions. if, some people might actually argue they'd be much more higher in the league. Some might say they might finish higher than Wrexham and Charlton. But I think it would be disingenuous to put them any lower, and I think they will actually do rather well. 14th, I have Portsmouth. And this is more of a kind of hope prediction, because I would like to see Portsmouth to continue progressing each year to get into the playoffs and then back into the Premier League, because of the hardship they had prior to going into administration twice and going through run-of-the-mill with all the different owners. So I'm hopeful that they do stay up, and I'm not too far from my prediction, but I would like to think Portsmouth would be around 14th. 13th, Watford. This one I believe is going to be the kicker. Not Birmingham, not Portsmouth, Watford, because of the way they conduct themselves with hiring, firing managers. To an extent, you could argue, yes, it is an incredibly badly run football club. But on the other hand, the few promotions they've had in the past has been through sacking and hiring managers. So it's a double-edged sword. I think they will just stick into mid-table. They might start terribly to begin with, but I won't be surprised if they hire someone else 5 games in, and then another person 7 games in, and another manager 9 games in, and then they rise up the ranks and then mid-table. I think Cleverley should have kept his job, but he hasn't. And I think Watford will stay up in mid-table. 12th, I have Charlton. This is primarily because of the conduct they have done in the transfer market. I think they have done an incredibly good job with signing appropriately Championship-like players. And in my Nathan Jones video, I do give him a lot of credibility into finding that team that he can build upon. And I feel like it's the exact same thing with Charlton. I mean, I remember when he was Luton manager, got in charge of them when they were in the Championship, and then he got them near enough to the playoffs. So I feel like it won't be to that extent with Charlton, but I think he will do literally dead in the middle of the Championship. 11th, I have Derby, and I think it's because they are well suited to John Eustace's tactics that are like Birmingham before Wayne Rooney got them relegated, arguably. They were, at least the most positive thing was they were top half of the table, and I think Derby they will be much more comfortable this season, and I will be rather shocked if they are actually the bottom half of the table, so from like 18th. I would like to think they're going to stay in the top half of the table. 10th, I have Wrexham, and that is because I feel like with the whole vibe, the groovy vibe that is around the club, the players want to play for the badge, they want to play for the owners, they want to play for the fans. It's just the talent side of things. And I think with 10th is incredibly generous for Wrexham. I think they will be finishing top half of the table. They might be a bit more closer to the playoffs, but I think they will be top half just outside of the playoffs. 9th, I have Middlesbrough. It's a shame that Michael Carrick got sacked, but at the end of the day, if you're not showing signs of progress with Middlesbrough on the table, on the league table, then how are you expected to grow as a football club? I think they need to find that coach who will take them to the next step to comfortably be in the playoffs or to actually be in the automatic positions. But I think this season they're still going to just be around the same places they've been the last 3-4 years. 8th, I have Coventry. Last season, I said that I would argue that Frank Lampard was the manager of the year in the Championship, because for me, he came into Coventry with such low expectations. You know, he got Derby from the depths of 5th to the glory heights of 5th or 6th or one position or the other. And then with Chelsea, sure, you could argue he done very well with bringing the youth in, but as that main man, especially with Everton, it wasn't the scene for him. But with Coventry, I would like to think this has been a testament to him that shows progress. He might be just outside the playoffs this season, but I think it'll be fiercely contested, and it will only be a matter of points just deciding it out. 7th, I have West Brom. Now, don't get me wrong, this is Ryan Mason's first actual job in management, and you could argue, yes, I've actually overestimated the club itself. But I feel like West Brom is a big name in the Championship, and I can't envision them being any lower than the top half of the table, let alone 7th, irrespective of who they hire. I would like to think Ryan Mason coming in will be kind of like Frank Lampard of Coventry, where he would surprise quite a few fans with his implementation of football and the players wanting to play for him. So I'm hopeful that he does start off well, irrespective of working with Tottenham. 6th, I have Norwich. I feel Liam Manning will take his 6th place crusade with Bristol City and bring them with him to Norwich. Norwich has been very underwhelming the last few seasons, let alone a decade, 2 decades. But much more recently, where they should be at least in contention of the playoffs in the Championship. They should always be contesting promotion to the Premier League. And I would like to think Liam Manning will bring that to Norwich. You know, Bristol City has been many moons being in that position against Sheffield United in the playoffs. And I think it'll be the same sort of thing with Norwich. 5th, I have Sheffield United. I like Ruben Sellers. I think Ruben Sellers is a very good coach. He's very full frontal, he's very blunt, and it's very relieving in footballing terms, where you can tell that he has a lot to give to the sport. And with a club like Sheffield United, where Norwich should be always contesting Premier League and Championship, he could potentially win the playoffs this year and make Sheffield United much more of a stable outfit in the Premier League. Who knows? I think they'll be 5th. 4th, I have Leicester. And it's just because they've just been so underwhelming of late. I still couldn't believe the first time they got relegated recently, where they just sold so many players and didn't bring the right people in. I mean, Wout Faes, I still can't believe he's still playing for Leicester, let alone in the Belgian national team. But who am I to say anything? I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy who's sitting in front of his computer, saying words and making noises with my mouth. 4th. 3rd, now this is a surprise one, I have Millwall. I think they are going to be the diamond in the rough this season of teams who will be overachieving. And as much as you can argue Wrexham 10th is overachieving, Charlton 12th, Birmingham 15th, I think Millwall will be the surprise package for this season. Don't ask me why, my bladder's half full, it's in the water. Millwall 3rd. 2nd, I have Ipswich. And I feel the fact that they've kept Kieran McKenna, they've kept most of their bright stars that they've had in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, they've sold a few for that rich capital. I don't think there's going to be any issue whatsoever. I think, you know, a lot of people arguing about the same old sides getting relegated in the Premier League, the ones who've just been promoted. You could argue near enough it's the same sort of thing for those getting promoted. The only difference was recently with Sheffield United, with Sunderland. Irrespective, I don't think they'll have too much of an issue. They will go about this season alike the season prior when they won the Championship. Got promotion from the Championship. So 2nd. And lastly, Southampton 1st. It'll be really interesting to see how Will Still implements his philosophy into Southampton. I mean, here's hoping it be much more productive than when Russell Martin was in charge. I mean, he's already not doing all that he should be doing with Rangers. I've seen a lot of the highlights of Rangers that time where you just passing it to the right, to the centre, to the left, to the centre, to the right, to the centre, to the left, times that by 10, and then pass back. I did say he would get a big job. Rangers are a big club. Anyway, I digress. Southampton 1st. Will Still will be the person to get his Southampton players to play a very specific style of football, pragmatic. I think he'll be doing very well. He'll implement all the things he learned from France into here. I think it'll be a testament to see how well he does in his first season in English football, but I don't think I have any issues from a guy who started his career playing Football Manager. So anyway, those are my predictions. Quite a few obvious predictions, a few surprise ones. Let me know who you think the 3 relegated teams will be, and who will be in your big 6, And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I will see you soon.